Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Rabin here. Today we are going to read magic items from my magic items book. So we will go ahead and jump right into it, starting off with all daggers / kunais. There is the regular dagger or kunai, which is a +1 through 5. This weapon grants its wielder a +1 through 5 to all its saves against danger and damage that they make while wielding this weapon. 1d4 plus highest ability mod, either magical, bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, your choice upon each attack. A dagger or kunai can be thrown out to a range of 10 through 60 feet from the one that's thrown it. Additionally, the dagger or kunai deals 1d6 plus ham when thrown. And then there is a fire dagger or kunai, which is the same, except the damage is split in half between fire and either piercing, slashing, or bludgeoning. And then it's the same thing for all the other elements. Earth dagger, there's air daggers, water daggers, lightning, light, and dark. And then poison, metal, and sound. And then there is one-handed axes, which do the weapon is granted a +1 through 5 to, or the wielder is granted a +1 through 5 to all saves against danger and damage they make while wielding this weapon. 1d6 plus ham, either piercing or slashing, your choice upon each attack. A one-handed axe can be thrown up to a range of 20 through 60 feet. Additionally, when throwing a one-handed axe, it deals 1d8 plus ham. And then all of the elemental types for the axe, or the one-handed axe as well. And then we've got javelins, which this weapon grants a +1 through 5 to all saves against danger and damage that they make while wielding the weapon. 1d6 plus ham, either magical, piercing, or slashing, your choice. Upon each attack, the javelin can be thrown out to a range of 20 through 120 feet. Additionally, the javelin deals 1d8 when thrown. And then there is all the elemental javelins. And then we've got one-handed maces, which is a d6 bludgeoning damage, and then the +1 through 5 to saves and damage. And then we've got all the elemental types for the one-handed mace. Next, we've got the spears, which do the 1 through 5 saves and damage, and then it's 1d8 magical, piercing, or slashing, your choice, and then it can be thrown between 20 and 60 feet. Additionally, it deals 1d10 when thrown. And then all of the elemental types for the spear. And then we've got the one-handed flails, which have the 1 through 5 for the saves and damage, and then it's a d8 magical bludgeoning, and then all the different elements for the flails. And then we've got one-handed spiked flails, which do the same thing, except it's a D8 piercing damage, and then all of the elements for that, for the spiked flail. And then we've got short swords, which are a D6 slashing or piercing upon each attack with the 1 through 5 to saves and damage, and then all the different elemental short swords. And then we've got long swords, which are a D8 magical slashing or piercing upon each attack, and then all the different elemental long swords. And then we've got all the sickles, which are a 1d4 slashing, and then all the elemental sickles. And then all darts slash shuriken, which are 1d4 piercing and have a throw range of 10 through 60 feet. And then all the elemental shuriken or dart. And then we've got the slingshots, which are a 1d4 with a range of 10 through 120, and then all the different elemental slingshots. And then the blowgun, which is a d4 with a range of 10 through 100, and all the elemental blowguns. And then we've got all short bows, which are a d6 with a range of 10 through 320 feet, and it's piercing damage, and then all the elemental short bows. And then we've got all the long bows, which are a d8 magical piercing, and have a range of 10 through 600 feet. And then we have all the elemental longbows. And then we have the hand crossbows, which are a d10 piercing with a range of 10 through 320, and then all the elemental hand crossbows. And then we've got I think 2 different types of, we've got smoke bombs and flash bombs. Smoke bombs, this weapon grants the wielder a +1 through 5 to all saves against danger and damage that they make while wielding this weapon. You throw the smoke bomb at either an unoccupied space or a creature out to the smoke bomb out to a space or a creature. Once the smoke bomb hits its target, it explodes, filling up a 20-foot radius with a thick fog cloud and dealing 4+ ham magical untyped damage to any creature within the fog cloud. On each of those creatures' turns, the fog cloud spreads around corners. It lasts for 5 in-game minutes, and any creature attacking from within the fog cloud makes all of their attacks at disadvantage. A smoke bomb can only be used once and has a range of 10 through 60 feet. And then flash bomb, the weapon grants a +1 through 5 to all saves and damage made while wielding this weapon. You throw the flash bomb at either an unoccupied space or a creature Once the flash bomb hits its target, it explodes, filling up a 20-foot radius with bright light, blinding all creatures within the affected area until the end of their next turn, and dealing 4 plus ham magical light damage. It has a range of 10 through 60 feet. And then next is all of the boomerangs, which are a 1d4 bludgeoning, and it returns after being thrown, and it has a range of 10 through 120 feet. And then we've got all the elemental boomerangs, and then we have the hand cannons, which are like a arm gauntlet thing, and it is a 1d12 magical bludgeoning to all creatures within a 10-foot radius of where the black powder hit. A hand cannon requires ammunition and has a range of 10 through 60 feet. Additionally, a hand cannon is a prosthetic limb. And then we've got all the elemental hand cannons. And then we've got the Razor Whip, which is one of my favorites. The Razor Whip, this weapon grants its wielder a plus 1 through 5 to all of its saves against danger and damage that they make while wielding this weapon. 4 plus ham magical slashing. The Razor Whip does not attack at disadvantage when attacking a creature that is within 5 feet or closer to the wielder. If a creature is within 5 feet or of the wielder for the cost of 1 combat point, the wielder can make 1 attack against the creature that is within 5 feet. That creature takes damage as normal and becomes grappled by the wielder of the Razor Whip. A creature grappled in this way cannot use any combat points on its or any other creature's turn, except to spend 3 combat points to make a fortitude saving throw danger check. 10 plus the wielder's highest ability modifier. On a successful save against danger, the creature escapes. On a failed save against danger, the creature does not escape, and it takes 4 plus ham magical bludgeoning damage. Additionally, while the wielder has a creature grappled within the Razor Whip, they cannot use any, or they cannot use it in any other way except to let the target creature go with a violent spin. You must make a reflex save with advantage, danger check 15. On a successful save, the creature spins 5 feet and is knocked prone until the beginning of their next turn and takes 4 magical bludgeoning damage. On a failed save against danger, the creature spins 10 feet and is knocked prone until the end of their next turn and takes 4 plus ham magical bludgeoning damage. In addition, a Razor Whip is a prosthetic limb. And then we've got all the elemental Razor Whips. And then next is the two-handed flails, which are a 1d8 bludgeoning, and then all the elemental flails. And then we've got the two-handed maces, which are a d6 bludgeoning, and then all the elemental maces. And then we've got the two-handed axes, which are a D8, either piercing or slashing, your choice upon each hit, and it can be thrown between 10 and 40 feet. Additionally, when it's thrown, it deals 16 or 2d6 plus ham, depending on what, if you're using the flat rules or dice rules. And then we've got the elemental two-handed axes. And then we've got all the two-handed spiked flails, which are a D8 piercing. And then all the elemental two-handed spiked flails. And then all the great swords, which are a D10 slashing or piercing upon each attack. And then all the elemental great swords. All the tridents, which are a D8 piercing or slashing, your choice upon each attack. And it can be thrown between 10 and 60 feet. Additionally, when thrown, it deals either 16 or 2d8 plus ham. And then all the elemental tridents. And then we've got all the warhammers, which are a D10 bludgeoning, and then all the elemental warhammers, all the spiked warhammers, which are a D10 piercing, all the elemental spiked warhammers, all the heavy crossbows, which are a D10 piercing with a range of 10 through 400 feet, and then the elemental crossbows. And then now we are to armor. We've got the cloth armor, which cloth armor light. This armor grants its user an additional 1 through 5 to their ADR. A creature wearing cloth armor has a base ADR of 9 plus their dexterity modifier plus their deflection bonus. And then we've got all the different elemental cloth armors, which each grant resistance to their corresponding element. And then we've got padded armor, which is, it grants a plus 1 through 5 to ADR, and as a creature wearing it has a base ADR of 10 plus dex plus deflection. And then all the elemental padded armors. And then we've got leather armor, which is plus 1 through 5 to ADR, and then a base ADR of 11 plus dex mod plus deflection bonus. And then all the elemental leather armors. And then we've got studded leather, which plus 1 through 5 to ADR. And then base ADR of 12 plus dex plus deflection. And then all the elemental studded leathers. And then we've got mail shirt armor, which is plus 1 through 5, and then base of 13 plus dex mod plus deflection, and then all the elemental metal shirt armors. And then we've got ring mail, which is plus 1 through 5, ADR of 14, plus Dex plus Deflection on all the elemental ring mails. And then we've got Breastplate, and then that's plus 1 through 5, ADR 15, plus Dex mod, plus Deflection, and then all the elemental breastplates. And then we've got Half Plate, which is plus 1 through 5, ADR of base is 16, plus Dex mod, plus Deflection. And then all the elemental half plates. And then we've got Chainmail, which is plus 1 through 5 with a base of 17 plus Dex mod plus Deflection. And then all of the elemental Chainmails. And then we've got Full Plate, which is a plus 1 through 5 base ADR of 18 plus Dex mod plus Deflection. And then all the elemental full plates. And then we've got all of the different shields. So we've got the wooden round shield of flame there, and it grants resistance to all fire damage. A creature using this wooden round shield gets a plus 1 through 5 to their ADR and all damage made with the shield. Additionally, for the cost of 1 combat point, you can make an attack dealing 2 magical bludgeoning plus 2 plus your strength modifier, magical fire, or it's D4. And then and the creature must make a reflex save against danger check 10 plus strength or be knocked prone until the beginning of your next turn. And then each shield is a different element to grant you a different resistance and a different damage type. And then we've got the Buckler Shield, which is the shield grants its wearer / user resistance to all, or this is the Buckler Shield of Fire. To fire damage, a creature wearing or using this Buckler Shield gains a plus 1 through 5 to their ADR and all damage made with the shield. Additionally, for the cost of 1 combat point, you can make an attack with the shield. The creature takes an takes an amount of magical bludgeoning damage equal to your strength mod, plus an amount of magical fire damage equal to your constitution mod. And the creature must make a reflex save, danger check 10 plus strength mod, or be pushed back up to 5 feet. And then there's the other elements for the Buckler Shield. And then we've got the Raider's Round Shield of Flame, resistance to fire. A creature wearing or wielding it gets plus 1 through 5 to ADR and damage. Additionally, for 1 combat point, you can make an attack. The creature takes 3 bludgeoning plus 3 plus strength mod, magical fire, or a d6. And the creature must make a reflex danger check 10 plus strength or be knocked prone until the beginning of their next turn. And then there's all the elemental Raiders Round Shields. And then we've got the Heater Shield, Flames, resistance to fire damage. Creature wearing or wielding it gets +1 through 5 through ADR and damage. 1 combat point can make an attack. The creature takes an amount of bludgeoning damage equal to Dex mod and an amount of fire damage equal to Strength mod. And the creature must make a reflex save, danger check, 10 plus strength, or be pushed back up to 5 feet. And then we've got all the elemental heater shields. And then we've got the wooden kite shield, which this one's the fire, so it grants resistance to fire, +1 through 5 to ADR and damage, 1 combat point to make an attack. Creature takes an amount of bludgeoning damage equal to dexterity and an amount of fire damage equal to strength, and it must make a reflex danger check 10 plus strength or be pushed back 5 feet. In addition, the shield grants its wielder the benefits of half cover. And then we've got all of the elemental wooden kite shields. And then we've got metal kite shield, which is resistant. This one's the fire one, so resistance to fire, +1 through 5 to ADR, 1 combat point to attack, bludgeoning equal to dexterity, plus 1d8 fire, and the creature makes reflex 10 plus strength or be pushed back up to 10 feet. Additionally, this shield grants its wearer the benefits of half cover. And then we've got the elemental kite all the rest of the elements for the kite shield. And then we've got the spiked gauntlet shield. This one's of flames, so fire resistance, +1 through 5 ADR and damage, 1 combat point to attack. It is 4 piercing plus 4 fire, so 2d4. And then reflex of 10 plus strength, or pushed up to 10 feet and knocked prone until the beginning of the next turn. In addition, the shield grants its wearer the benefits of half cover and the benefits of heavy weapon minus the two-handed rule. And then there's all the spiked gauntlet shields for the different elements. And then we've got the cannon shield. This one's of flames, resistance to fire, +1 through 5 ADR, 1 combat point to attack, 6 bludgeoning plus 6 fire, so 2d6. To all creatures within 10-foot radius of where it hits. And the creatures must make fortitude, danger check 10 plus constitution mod, or be affected by the burn condition for 1 minute. In addition, this shield grants its wearer the benefits of half cover, and a fire cannon does not require ammunition, and has a range of 10 through 40 feet. And none of these require ammunition. They're magical. And then we've got all the different elements. And then we've got the tower shields. This one's of flames, resistance to fire, +1 through 5 ADR and all damage, 1 combat point to attack, 5 bludgeoning and 5 fire, 5 bludgeoning plus ham fire, so a d6 or a d4, and then reflex danger check 10 plus strength or be pushed up to 10 feet and then knocked prone until the beginning of your next turn. In addition, the shield grants its wielder the benefits of half cover and the benefits of heavy weapon minus the two-handed rule. And then all of the different tower shields, which one of them, the Tower Shield of Sound, is one of our current character Sarah's power. And then we've got the Spiked Tower Shield of Flame, resistance to fire, plus 1 through 5 ADR, 1 combat point to attack, 1d6 or 6 magical piercing plus 1d6 fire, and reflex, danger check 10 plus strength or be pushed up to 10 feet and knocked prone till the beginning of next turn. And the shield grants the benefits of half cover and heavy weapon minus the two-handed rule. And then there's all the different elements for the shield. And then now we are to, those are just all the basic weapons. Now we're to all the other like specialized weapons and armors and stuff like that within the game of From Peasants to Palaces. So this one is plus 1 through 5 Wand of the Elements. This one grants its wielder a plus 1 through 5 to all saves against danger and damage that they make while wielding this wand for the cost of 1 combat point and 5 mana points. You can choose one of the following elements: fire, water, air, earth, lightning, light, dark, poison, metal, sound, granting this wand the ability to deal that damage type for the next 24 hours or until the damage type is changed. 4 or 1d4 plus ham magical damage of the currently chosen elemental type. A wand of elements does not require ammunition and has a range of 5 through 300 feet. And then the next one is our other character, Jack. This is his power, which is the Staff of Sun and Moon. Plus 1 through 5. This weapon grants plus 1 through 5 to all saves against danger and damage made while wielding or carrying this staff. You gain resistance to all light and dark damage. 4 or 1d4 plus ham magical light plus 4 or 1d4 plus ham magical dark. Additionally, for the cost of 3 combat points and 50 mana points, you can emit an aura of light around yourself out to a radius of 30 feet. While this light aura is active, you gain the following 3 benefits. This aura remains active for a number of minutes equal to your ham. 1, you gain immunity to all light damage, and any light damage you would be dealt heals you for an amount of health and mana points equal to the amount of light damage that would have been dealt. Additionally, you gain immunity to both the blind and burned conditions. 2, any hostile creature that begins or ends its turn within this aura's affected radius must make a fortitude save against danger. On a successful save against danger, the creature becomes affected by the blind condition for a number of minutes equal to half your ham. On a failed save, the creature becomes affected by the blind and burned conditions for a number of minutes equal to your ham. And 3, for the cost of 1 combat point, you can unleash a 30-foot wide by 300-foot long beam of sunlight from the staff. All hostile creatures within this affected area automatically take 1d8 or 8 plus your ham magical light and become affected by both the blind and burned conditions. Additionally, for each 1 mana point spent on this ability, the damage is increased by 1. And then the second half of the staff is the dark half, which is, in addition, for the cost of 3 combat points and 50 mana points, you can emit an aura of darkness around yourself out to a radius of 30 feet. While this darkness aura is active, you gain the following 3 benefits. This aura remains active for a number of minutes equal to your ham. 1, you gain immunity to all dark damage, and any dark damage that would be dealt to you heals you for an amount of health and mana points equal to the amount of damage that would have been dealt. Additionally, you gain immunity to all poisons and diseases. 2, any hostile creature that begins and or ends its turn within this affected radius must make a fortitude save. On a successful save, the creature becomes affected by 1 poison of your choice. On a failed save, the creature becomes affected by 1 poison and 1 disease of your choice. And 3, for the cost of 1 combat point, you unleash a 30-foot wide by 300-foot long beam of moonlight from the staff. All hostile creatures within the affected area automatically take 8 or 1d8 plus ham magical dark and become affected by 1 poison and 1 disease of your choice. Additionally, for each 1 mana point spent on this ability, the damage is increased by 1. And then next is the Moon Scythe. And the Moon Scythe is +1 through 5 to all saves against danger that the wielder or carrier makes while using the weapon. You gain resistance to all metal and psychological damage, 1d6 or 6 plus ham magical metal plus 1d6 plus half your ham magical psychological. Additionally, for the cost of 3 combat points and 100 mana points, you can unleash a healing light out to a radius of 30 feet. All creatures of your choice that are within this affected area have all of their health and mana points fully restored. In addition, whenever a creature is hit by this weapon, that creature must make a fortitude save. On a successful save, the creature takes double the amount of damage as normal. On a failed save, the creature takes double the amount of damage as normal, and the creature becomes affected by either the charmed or frightened condition, your choice, for a number of minutes equal to your ham. And then the next one is the Sun Scythe. And the Sun Scythe is +1 through 5 to all saves and damage that the wielder makes. You gain resistance to all poison and sound damage, 6 or 1d6 plus ham poison plus your ham sound. And then additionally, for 3 combat points and 100 combat points, you can unleash a burst of solar radiation out to a 30-foot radius. All hostile creatures within this affected area must make a fortitude save. On a successful save, the creature takes double the amount of damage. On a failed save, the creature takes double the amount of damage. And becomes affected by 1 poison and 1 disease of your choice. In addition, whenever a creature is hit by this weapon, that creature must make a fortitude save. On a successful save, the creature becomes affected by the deafened condition for a number of minutes equal to your ham. On a failed save, the creature falls prone and becomes affected by the deafened condition for a number of minutes equal to your ham. And then next is the Golden Amulet of Champions. Each of these amulets have been blessed by the concepts themselves, granting their owner a +10 to all of their saves against danger and danger checks, in addition to 3 unique abilities created by the player and the game organizer. These 3 abilities should be on the power level of a demi-concept. Additionally, the 3 abilities should be able to grow in strength with the owner of the amulet. Next is Mana Suppressing Amulet / Ring. Any creature that has any amount of mana points that is wearing this amulet / ring must make a fortitude save each 24 hours. Danger check 12 plus the creature's total character level plus the creature's constitution mod. On a successful save against danger, nothing happens. On a failed save, the creature cannot use / spend any amount of mana points for the next 24 hours. Additionally, this can be placed onto any creature for the cost of 2 combat points. The next is Mana Searching Stone. Any creature holding or wielding this stone can spend 1 combat point to project an invisible aura out to a range of 300 feet. Any creature that has any amount of mana points and its whereabouts are telepathically registered into the users of this item's mind. And then next is Shackles of the Master. For the cost of 3 combat points, you can target 1 creature that is within a 5-foot radius of you. That creature becomes grappled, restrained, and must make a will save against danger. Danger check 12 plus creature's total level plus strength. On a successful save, the creature loses 12 mana points. On a failed save, the creature loses 24 mana points, and the target must now obey all the orders of the user of this item for the next 12 hours. A creature affected by this item can remake its save each 3 hours. On a successful save, the shackles shatter and the creature is set free. On a failed save, the creature remains under the control of this item's user until it can successfully pass the save against danger required by this item, or until the 12-hour time limit is up, whichever has been achieved. And then the next one is Dimensional Backpack. For the cost of 1 combat point, you can open the bag, put 1 free hand inside, and pull out 1 item that has been stored within this bag. A dimensional backpack can hold a number of items, no matter their size, equal to 10 plus strength modifier of the creature wielding / using this item. A dimensional backpack has an ADR and an amount of health points equal to 10 plus the constitution modifier of the creature wearing / wielding it. Additionally, if this bag is destroyed, then all the items that are currently within the bag drop to the ground all around the wearer / user of this item in a scattered 15-foot radius. And then next, we've got just some real simple stuff, like a +1 amulet, cloak, earring of defense, +1 to ADR, and then all the way up to +5. And then we've got a cloak, amulet, earring of damage, +1, all the way up to 5. And then we've got amulet, cloak, earring of DCs for saves, +1, all the way up to 5. And then muffin of resistance. This item grants the wielder 1 resistance of their choice for the next 3 hours, that's +1, and then +2. 2 resistances for 2 hours. And then the +3 muffin is 3 resistances for 1 hour. And then we've got +1 pumpkin pie of immunity, which grants 1 immunity for 3 hours, +2 pumpkin pie of immunity, which is 2 immunities for 2 hours, and then +3 pumpkin pie of immunity, which is 3 immunities for 1 hour. And then we've got Eye of Chosen Sense. This item is a replacement for a creature's missing eye. This item grants the wielder/user 1 special sense of their choice out to a range of 60 feet. If the creature already possesses the chosen special sense, then that chosen sense has its range doubled. This item has an ADR of 10 plus the wielder/user's constitution score. This item has an amount of health points equal to 10 plus the user/wielder's total character level plus the user/wielder's constitution score. And then the next one is probably the last one we will be able to read for this video, maybe. We'll see. This one is the Hat of Randomness. This magical hat grants you a +2 to your charisma score. As butterflies or birds your choice start to flutter around you, you gain a +2 to your ADR. Additionally, for the cost of 2 combat points, you can put your hand into the hat and then choose a number between 1 and 12. And once a number has been chosen, it cannot be chosen again until all numbers have been used. If you choose 1, then you take 10 plus Constitution modifier damage. If you choose 2, then the hat teleports you to 1 unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within 30 feet of you. If you choose 3, the hat summons a cloud of mist that surrounds you out to a range of 10 feet. This mist lasts for 5 rounds. All attacks except for yours while this mist is active and while you are inside this mist have disadvantage. If you choose 4, you become invisible until the end of your next turn. If you choose 5, the hat shoots out a ball of fire out to a range of 60 feet. When the ball of fire reaches its destination, it explodes in a 20-foot radius, dealing 30 or 3d10 plus con magical fire to all creatures within a 20-foot radius. If you choose 6, the hat shoots out a chunk of earth out to a range of 60 feet. When the chunk of earth reaches its destination, it explodes in a 20-foot radius, dealing 15 or 2d or a d12 piercing plus 15 or d12 earth, and then all creatures within the 20-foot radius or to all creatures within the 20-foot radius. On a 7, the hat shoots a blast of wind to a range of 30 feet in all directions from you. All creatures except for you within the 30-foot radius must make a reflex save on a 10 or danger check is 10 plus ham on a successful save. The creature is pushed back up to 15 feet. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d10 plus dex mod and is pushed back up to 30 feet, and they become knocked prone until the end of their next turn. If you choose 8, the hat shoots out a stream of water in a straight line out to a range of 60 feet. Each creature within the stream takes 3d10 plus dex water and becomes not prone until the beginning of your next turn. If you choose 9, that shoots out a bolt of lightning in a line out to a range of 120 feet. Each creature within the line takes 3d10 plus con lightning damage and becomes paralyzed to begin your next turn. If you choose 10, that summons a bright beam of light into one creature that you can see that it's within 300 feet radius of you, and the creature must make a will save of 10 plus ham. On its successful save, the creature takes d12 plus ham magical light and becomes blinded until the end of their next turn. On a failed save, the creature takes 3d10 plus ham magical light and becomes permanently blinded. After the 10th use of this feature, you become permanently blinded. If you choose 11, the hat summons a cloud of darkness that surrounds you out to a range of 30 feet for a number of minutes equal to your ham. All of your saves against while you're in this danger, you gain advantage. On all your saves against danger, you gain immunity to all light damage and the blind condition. Additionally, all of your attacks deal an additional 10 or 1d10 plus ham magical dark. And if you choose 12, your health points and mana points are restored by 10 plus constitution modifier. We can do a couple more. We've got the earring slash amulet slash tattoo slash ring of spell storing. Each of these items begins with a single spell of the game organizer's choice stored within. The wielder slash user of one of these items can cast the stored spell for its required combat and mana points cost a number of times per 24 hours equal to their ham. And then next is amulet, earring, tattoo, ring of mana storing. For the cost of 1 combat point, the wearer or user can spend any amount of their own mana points to store within this item, giving it an amount of stored mana points equal to the amount spent. This item can store an amount of mana points equal to double the wielder or user's maximum mana points for all of their mana pools. Additionally, for no cost required, these stored mana points can be used at any time for anything that mana points can be used for / spent on. Next is the earring, amulet, tattoo, ring of anti-aging. The wearer user of this item ages 1 in-game year for every 10 years that pass. Next is endless water skin. This item can hold an unlimited amount of safe drinking water. Endless bottle of oil. This item can hold an unlimited amount of oil. In this bottle of ink, this item can hold an unlimited amount of ink. Amulet slash cloaks, earring, tattoo, or ring of infiltration. The wearer slash user of this item, or while wearing or using this item, you gain the following benefits. If you aren't wearing armor, your base armor becomes 15 plus ham. You gain immunity to the poison and disease conditions. You gain the ability to turn invisible for the cost of 5 plus mana points. When using this feature, you stay invisible for a number of minutes equal to 1 minute per 5 mana points spent on this feature. For the cost of 1 combat point, a creature that can see invisible creatures, items, or objects can make an investigation check 20 plus ham in order to see where you are. Next is the Endless Ammunition Backpack. This item can hold an unlimited amount of any one type of ammunition of the wearer or user's choice. Luckstone. This item allows the wearer or wielder or user to grant themselves and one ally of their choice that they can see within 300-foot radius of them advantage on all of their attacks for the next 5 minutes. Once this item has been used 3 times, it disintegrates. Next is a Saving Stone. This item allows the wielder or user to grant themselves and one ally of their choice that they can see within 300-foot radius of them advantage on all saves against danger for the next 5 minutes. Once this has been used 3 times, it disintegrates. Next is Boots / Cloak Tattoo / Tattoos of Flight. For the cost of 2 combat points, the wielder / user can make this item sprout wings. These wings grant the wielder / user of this item a flying speed of 60 feet. If the wielder or user already possesses a flying speed, then the flying speed is doubled. The wings can stay active for a number of minutes equal to your ham. These minutes need not be consecutive, but must be in at least 1 in-game minute increments. Book of Strength Enhancement. The wielder of this item can take 2 uninterrupted in-game hours to read this book. Upon successfully reading the book, your strength score is permanently increased by 2. This book then disappears to a random place selected by the game organizer. And then there is a Book of Strength, Book of Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. And that is where we will end for today's video. And next time, when we begin reading the items, we will pick up with one of the first sets, which has 10 items within the set, which are the mummified pieces of the Forgotten God. Thank you all. Give us a like, subscribe, share this with everyone. I'm trying to get 100 subscribers so I can start live streaming. Thank you all again, and I'll see you in the next adventure.